And I brought up this hilarious news story recently about Governor Whitmer. And it's ridiculous, how ridiculous on the face of it, that they were trying to kidnap her. Trump had all, and this is all in the lead up to the election, when Trump had all the momentum. People were laughing at the idea that Joe Biden and everybody was portraying him as a serious candidate because there's nothing to him still to this day. The lockdowns, the censorship hurt Democrat candidates across the country, and Whitmer at the time had just been rejected by her own Supreme Court, and people in her state were summarily saying, fuck you. But we got a little bit more about this. So we're wondering, where the hell did that all come from? Where did it all go? Headline: were Governor Gretchen Whitmer's would-be kidnappers victims of FBI entrapment? How feds had at least 12 informants in Michigan militia gang who encouraged bizarre failed plot. The October arrest of 14 people involved in a Michigan plot is raising questions about the FBI's use of informers and limits of their power. Raising questions? This is how they justified all their counterterrorism budgets. This is how they did everything. They went and they found the most impressionable young, harmless for the most part, Muslim boys on the internet, gave them inert materials to build bombs that don't work, and they arrested them. Say, look, we found a terrorist. One of the at least 12 informants were involved in Michigan scheme devised by a group calling itself the Wolverine Watchmen to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer. They're going to kidnap her. One of the 14 had pleaded guilty. The others will go on to trial in October, and several of their lawyers are planning on arguing entrapment. At least one of the FBI informants paid for their planning meetings and was encouraged to recruit others to the plot. Between 2012 and 2018, the FBI spent an average of $42 million a year on payments to confidential informants. In the aftermath of 9/11, FBI informants secured convictions on numerous jihadis, only for questions to remain whether they were enticed to the plots. Yes, they were. Yes, they were. And of course, it is kind of easy to find some people out there that are second, third generation Muslims that are anywhere in the world that may have become radicalized over the course of a couple of generations, because a lot of the wars that were being fought were completely illegal, and they were exacting enormous tolls on civilian life in North Africa and in the Middle East. So there was a lot of real anger out there that was being harvested and was being used to justify these ridiculous budgets. And it gave us things like the TSA that never did anything but molest your grandmother. Never do anything. What else do we have? But it's on this. It's on this respect that I'm reading through this. 12 of them, according to BuzzFeed investigation, went way beyond simply listening and infiltrating, and instead actively recruited others to the plot, funded and directed it. They have claimed that without the FBI informant's involvement, there would have been no plot at all. And lawyers for the Capitol rioters will be watching very closely amid claims by Tucker Carlson and others that the FBI spurred on the January 6th insurrection in similar vein. Oh yes, on the inside, you can see it. And I would love to see the tens of thousands of hours of footage, because what little that we did see, very suspicious. Definitely agent provocateur over there. It wasn't just FBI that were probably in plain clothes, all black clad. We see the Capitol Police that were on duty taking barricades down and waving people in. Negotiating with people on the inside. Please just be respectful. Go ahead. Be respectful. Go ahead. Holy hell, man. And if you look at some of the responses on Twitter and elsewhere where you can really take a peek into the mind of the average liberal who isn't just, a really shitty AI account, these libs now who are down for anything as long as they feel that they're serving domestic terrorist justice. All the people that I brought up last night when we were talking to Lieutenant Colonel Schaefer about the Patriot Act, how Republicans and Democrats alike were very scared about the Pandora's box that was about to be opened with surveillance on behalf of Homeland Security after 9/11. Well, I think the thing that people were saying the most today, whoever were people, the rest was AI, and then people started parroting the AI, and the AI learned from the parroters just to say it more and in different ways, sounding stupider and stupider. Because when AI learns from the stupid people that are on fucking Twitter, there's no way that the AI is going to be more believable. It's going to the more AI learns from liberals on Twitter, the more people are going to think that AI has gone completely retarded. But the one thing that kept saying today was free will. Free will. Free will. It doesn't matter if they were entrapped. They still had the free will not to do it. Well, you must have all loved the young Muslim boys who were entrapped like this to justify counterterrorism budgets and news narratives over the years. Anyone who leans on free will to justify this entrapment doesn't understand psychological operations very much. They don't. They don't. And the other thing there, too, is there's other forms of entrapment that you can't say free will, but still entrapment. What was going on with Michael Flynn with the FBI in the White House in the beginning of 2017 is entrapment. They don't care about that either because they think that they're on a crusade. So you add on top of that a society filled with disaffected loners and addicts, whatever the hell it is, add forced unemployment, mandated isolation, censorship, and daily revelations and reminders that your government has turned against you, I'm pretty sure it's totally possible to provoke a couple hundred people to point and yell at things in the Capitol building and do other things similar to that. Because when you got Jake Tapper and Brian Stelter diddling themselves, waiting for something like this to cry over, it's instantly legitimized. So this should have not been a surprise to anybody.